Health Show. I'm Frank, and tonight I'm going to talk to you about machine gun magic. Machine gun magic is one of the craziest things I may have ever seen. It is, first and foremost, a video for machine gun enthusiasts, and I think the best way to describe it here is I'm going to read the front of the case. Machine gun magic, a gourmet guide to the joy of full auto shooting. That sounds fantastic. Hungry for action? This film's for you. Machine Gun Magic is an action-packed documentary about sport machine gun shooting that explodes the media myths about full auto arms. Civilian machine gun enthusiasts take on radio-controlled drone airplanes, the ultimate challenge for any machine gunner. So pass the ammunition, and hold on to your seat, brother, because it's going to be one hell of a time. Machine Gun Magic was made by Dylan Productions. I honestly don't know too much about them. After this, I'm going to have to look it up because I can only assume how insane it must get. And on the front cover of this is just a photo of, I'll try to get a close-up later, a photo of a truck-mounted Gatling gun. A modern Gatling gun. So that's not a Gatling gun. Minigun, I think is what they call it. I can't remember. I even know a decent amount about guns. I worked at a gun store for a little while. I'm not particularly political tied to that in any way, shape, or form, but during college, needed some money. So I worked at one, and I picked up some knowledge about it. But then again, and I just got done watching this not too long ago, and I can't even tell you everything that's in it. At the end of the day, I don't care about it that much anymore. It's just fun to talk about and funny to watch something like this, especially. Yeah, yeah. It's fucking crazy. The amount of enthusiasm for machine guns in this this video is never ending. Absolutely never ending. So we open up on the guy who owns, I guess, the production company. I don't know what else he does, but we open up on this guy named Mike Dillon, who is the owner, I guess, of Dillon Productions. And he talks about a story with his grandmother when she came back from Italy, or excuse me, not Italy, coming back, I think, from World War II, and how he asked her to bring a machine gun back, or that she said she was going to.
When I was 6 years old and living in Florida, my Aunt Dot went to England as a nurse during World War II. Before she left, she promised to bring me back a machine gun, and I was bitterly disappointed when she came home without it. She swears to this day that she had the gun, but they took it away from her when she went to get on board the ship.
And she got stopped when she was trying to bring it back. He wasn't ever sure if it was a true story. And then he just goes into, right from there, into his love of machine guns.
I might be a little older now, but not much has changed. I still enjoy machine guns, and I know that thousands of others out there do too. What you're about to see is the fun, the history, and some straight talk about one of the most misunderstood pieces of engineering in America.
So after Monsieur Dillon stops talking, we get into a gun wrangler prop house. And a gun wrangler, if you don't know, is a person who owns a lot of firearms and leases them out or rents them out to movie production companies.
1991, it's been pretty good, really. We're doing Terminator 2. This is called a Hawk. It's actually a tear gas gun, police tear gas gun, and it was used in the latest Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger uses this in the movie.
So that they can be used in films. And a guy kind of gets into a number of different guns in his collection and what films they were used in. I mean, he goes into, I think, like an M249 Saw, I know he picks up a drum grenade launcher. It's insane. Like, he has a hell of a collection. It's probably hundreds of thousands, if not, you know, more of dollars. A lot of these guns, by the way, this is all full auto. The video goes into the legality of them. So long story short, full auto guns are very hard to get. You have to go through lots of hoops with the government. So it's a very expensive hobby if you ever dare to even get into it, which I don't suggest. So they get into the Gatling gun, which was a hand-cranked gun made during the Civil War or thereabouts.
The military was not prone to adopt the Gatling gun at all, and so it had very limited use in the Civil War. There were 12 purchased by the United States Ordnance for $1,000 apiece.
And then they get into the World War I era, talking about a Vickers machine gun, water-cooled system.
This gun is painted in the colors used in South Africa. However, more significantly, it's a classic example of the type of machine gun that was employed and that dominated the trench warfare of World War I. The gun is now loaded and ready to fire.
Dude from Soldier of Fortune magazine drops by to talk about that. He looks like Crocodile Dundee's redneck cousin from the South.
About one of the most misunderstood pieces of engineering in America.
Then the production company, I guess Mr. Dillon, got a lady to come shoot because I guess they thought that would be novel. And they get her out to shoot Tommy gun.
Longer burst. Longer.
A BAR, a lot of World War II era machine guns. So I guess that was very fun for them. Yeah. After that, we get into some squad automatic weapons. It's one of the current military, American military weapons, the M249 SAW squad automatic weapon. Squad automatic weapons is a light machine gun. They go into a couple of those, some of the modern ones.
This one is still used in communist countries today, the RPD.
Well, I have a collection of about 50 or 60 automatic weapons. This particular firearm is important in the history of automatic weapons because it's the squad automatic weapon for almost every communist bloc country over about the last 30 or 40 years.
A couple different rednecks and non-rednecks come up to talk about it. They make sure they say what they do. One's an attorney and a lady.
This is a very unique weapon. It's actually a weapon system. Eugene Stoner designed it so that you could, in the field, by changing the components of this particular gun, turn it into a lot of different weapons. Everything from a carbine to a light machine gun, which is its present configuration.
So that's cool. Yeah. A couple people come up and shoot their guns and talk about their guns, and they shoot their guns at stuff, and it's absolutely insane. They shoot their guns at night, they shoot their guns in the day, they shoot their guns all times of time. They shoot them at night, they shoot them in day, they shoot them no matter what you say. Lots of guns. Then Mike Dillon gets back on screen and talks for a little while about some truck-mounted guns, anti-aircraft cannons, things like that.
Probably the most awesome piece of ground firepower in World War II was the quad 50 caliber anti-aircraft mount. The mount carried 4 Browning AN-M2 heavy-barreled 50 calibers.
It's so fucking wasteful. So all these people are just, I mean, it's wasting money, wasting metal, wasting gunpowder, just wasting shit tons of this stuff to just go out and for no reason, I guess. America. I guess. After the anti-aircraft cannons, we get into aircraft-mounted cannons.
Let's go over to McDonnell Douglas's plant and talk to them about some of their larger chain guns.
This is the 25 millimeter Bushmaster that we're producing for the U.S. Army and also the Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and all foreign sales. We've produced over 7,300 of these weapons so far, starting in 1981 was our first production.
I don't know who has the money for this shit. I think most of the stuff is just in either private collectors' hands or in museums. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. There's so many guns. So many guns out there. Then this guy Doug Champlain comes on, who owns this museum called the Champlain Fighters Museum. Has a bunch of World War II, a lot of war guns.
Doug, you were telling us about a Japanese World War II machine gun in here that has quite a bit of history behind it.
The 1st Marine Division captured this gun at Guadalcanal, and General Vandergrift, who was the commanding officer of the 1st Marine Division, presented it to Admiral Halsey as a trophy when his division overran the Bloody Ridge at Guadalcanal and captured this gun.
In his gigantic museum full of guns, lots of machine guns. And he comes on to talk about how guns are misperceived in the media and how they get a bad rap.
I had some reservations about putting the guns in a museum because unfortunately the media has been a little harsh on gun owners and I think quite unfairly on the machine gun owners, because there's never been a crime that I know of on record that it was ever committed with a registered machine gun, and so I think we've been unfairly picked on, but I didn't know what the public reaction would be to having guns here.
And he goes on to talk about the legal procedures for acquiring a fully automatic weapon in the United States, which again is extremely hard, and he goes into some detail about that.
You can get the proper forms from either your gun dealer, or you can get them directly from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms of the Treasury Department, which are listed in your yellow pages on the federal government. Essentially then you have to be fingerprinted by your local law enforcement agency, your photograph. The third requirement is a endorsement from a law enforcement officer authorized that you're of good character and can own a gun. So if you meet those 3 requirements in about 6 months, you'll have your gun.
Which, you know, I guess should make some of us sleep at night to know that it should make some of us sleep well at night knowing that it's hard to get an automatic weapon. Although, as they undercut themselves right after, they say that criminals don't use them because they're hard to get.
All this regulation, by the way, when regulators admit criminals don't even want machine guns. Again, in our conversation with Jack Killeran of the ATF, he says what most law enforcement people will also admit, quote, "It's not the gun of choice of crime. Most criminals want a handgun, something they can conceal," unquote.
That shit makes like no sense. And then we come to one of my very favorite parts of the video. A shit ton of, again, I'm gonna have to go ahead and say, a shit ton of rednecks shoot an old car. They just unfucking load on an old beat up car. There's like every gun you could possibly imagine. Seriously, they all line up, like maybe a couple hundred people, maybe 100 people, something like that, each with a different type of gun, and they all shoot at a car. I don't know, things blow up. Again, this is insanity. It's so, I mean, I guess it's cool, but it's also pretty fucking wasteful, I guess. But I mean, it's fucking hilarious if you ask me. And the very last thing we come to is when the they bring out a bunch again of anti-aircraft truck-mounted guns shooting like 20mm cannons and 50 cal, and they bring out a bunch of other small arms, little machine guns and shit, and they shoot radio control planes. They shoot remote control planes out of the air. At night, a little bit during the day at sunset, and they just keep blowing them out of the sky. And I mean, at least that has some of a point. It's a little bit of a game, but it's not shooting a stationary car in a fucking field. But I mean, again, I guess this is what you do if you have money to waste. I don't have that kind of money to burn. Not at all. Not even one little bit. And even if I did, I wouldn't do it. Because, I don't know, man. There's a lot of other shit I'd rather do. Maybe these people wouldn't. I don't know. So yeah, and then after that, we just get another re-round of that after the credits. During the credits, some slow-mo of the planes exploding, and then a little bit more plane action after that, and that's fucking it. I doubt you'll ever find this. By the way, what's really cool about it is it comes in a blue VHS. I've never seen that before, especially in the style with the slatted windows like that. Most just come black, plain, but this one has blue and, no for you nerds, it has gray reels. So that's cool. And they say in the beginning of the video, you know you have an authentic copy if it's blue. So if you don't have a blue one, you fucked up. Get you some real stuff, all right? Machine gun magic. That's it. Thanks for watching Video Hell Show. Sleep well, America. Oh!